Hello, and welcome to another wonderful episode of Submitted for Your Approval, the weekly card review show for Collective, the community-created card game where, wait for it, you make the cards. I am joined today by my faithful co-host, Grief.
Howdy, folks.
And my twice-returned co-host, Empty Folder. He's now back for
Hello, everyone.
I am also joined by a guest star today, and one of our few guest stars that actually chooses to show up on camera, Sevas. Say hi, Sevas.
Hey, yo, people.
Yeah,
Welcome.
always great to have you on. I'm just going to hop straight into it with the accepted submissions. These cards, these ones are in the game, so you can add them to decks and stuff. The Musteli Charger is a 1-drop Spirit 3/1 Otter Centaur from Umont with Can't Block and Surge 3. Your units get +1 attack and agile this turn. Surge is basically kicker. You can pay an additional X mana as you play this to trigger the Surge. So it's either a 1-drop 3/1 sort of a piker with Can't Block, or it is a 4-drop piker with give units attack and agile. Omond, I like a lot of the work that's been done with it, and I guess I'm gonna congratulate Cockatrice for making the realm a thing, even though it was Dia's realm pitch. And I know Grief's been doing a lot of great work. For those of you on the Discord, make sure to check out in lore. He's been working on an actual map of this world. But it is a anthropomorphic animals, aquatic anthropomorphic animals, and Napoleonic warfare. So normally I tend to get pretty judgy when we first start talking about a realm here, and I wasn't here to do that this time. I do think it's really interesting, and I really liked the art here. So I just wanted to talk mostly on that. As far as the effect and Surge, there's a lot to talk about here. Grief, you want to get us started?
Oh, where to start? Okay, first of all, it's a cute solid unit. Auto tribe. Okay, I guess we have these now.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against it. Seems to be important because it's a main tribe species playable unit in the realm. But yeah, outside of that, Surge. Surge is an interesting mechanic as a kicker mechanic. The problem I see is more the payouts of the different Surge cards, and in this case, it's just a solid version of, well, Ashgirdy's leveled 3. So it's just a gifty order on a stick, which is pretty cool, considering it actually causes itself to attack as well. So you're just getting for one less mana the green version of Gifty Order, which is pretty solid for Spirit, which already makes tokens on maps. This will fit into Bullock. This would probably fit into Hawkins, if ever Otter Tribe or Centaur Tribe or whatever becomes a thing. If push comes to shove, just put in more shapeshifters.
Well, it works pretty good with the 2 Animaster Rodent cards as well. So there's that.
Yeah, overall, it's just a solid unit. Good in draft.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, great limited card. MT, what do you think of this?
And Surge is just so long overdue. Like, I think it's been attempted maybe 2 times already and didn't get in. So I'm really happy that a card with a kicker mechanic finally got into the game. Is this like a really great modal design? You have sort of a subpar 1-drop or like a decent like all-in enabler later in the game. It's a great design and a really nice introduction of the realm. The Cockatrice art is great, and it really shows off like what this is about, and it's really funny.
Yeah, I really like that. It's very flavorful, very interesting, whole Otter Centaur concept, and it's cute. Sevas, what do you think of this?
So Grief said like half of the things that I want to say about it already. So it's basically Ashgardy's hero part, but for Bullock. But I'm especially looking forward to it because it's an end of turn buff in standard, which we really are lacking. And what I also like about this is it's a test, because we see people saying how unavailable 1 health 1-drops are, but with rotation and removal nerfs, we should be at a point where this is no longer the case. So like 3/1 for 1 is the risk rewards one drop that I've been waiting for.
I like how this is an agile grantor. That's also a notable thing because for a long time, people have been very reticent about those kind of effects because they tend to be sometimes problematic from a balance perspective. But this is, I mean, it's on a 4, it's 4 cost, but it's something. Okie dokie then. The Midnight Manipulator misspelling is a 1-drop. Mine 2/1 Psychic Aberration from Verstalt. With Entomb, draw a card, discount it, and the highest cost card in enemy hand by 1. So, pretty interesting, pretty cute. I feel like you need to like plan out how to make this work, because I mean this could ramp your opponent's endgame out a turn sooner, but maybe that works out. I don't really know. Grief, what do you think of this?
Just a solid unit. Just goes +1. You don't really care what it discounts in your opponent's hand. And overall, yeah, this is just good stats for the cost. So, but it's like good kit for the cost. If it dies, don't care. It has 1 HP, so it either dies incidentally due to blocking, attacking. There's no real downside, and it replaces itself.
Yeah. Empty. So tell me a little bit about the design process and the what you were thinking with this thing.
Yeah, very simple. If you're going to build a deck with any of the Bird Bros, you like having multiple 1-drops is basically mandatory in order to actually get XP. So having 2 1-drops in Verstalt is really important. And I wanted to have one that would work with the discount package and one that works with the surmise package. This is the discount package one. Discounts one of your own things, and then your opponent, like, you can use some of the other Verstalt cards to either get value out of the discount or make it not matter as much.
Yeah, and with the new spoils for choice, that should also be a good option. Sevas, what do you think about this?
So yeah, it's a solid 1-drop. I think everybody should play this that doesn't have a 1-drop in their deck yet. I love that it plays around the idea of being like a slightly overtuned card, but like with a drawback that's still going to be played around, because you got the cards that prevent cards from being played when they are discounted. You got discards, you got card steals directly from hand, and you can also discourage the opponent from playing the discounted card by marking it. And it's wonderful how it synergizes with the other Verstalt cards.
Yeah. Yeah, notably, like, yeah, Unsated Processionary, that was a good trick I didn't think of.
The funny thing with that, though, is if you already have it in play, you can't play the card you just drew either.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're going to be discounting you might be discounting their top end, right?
You are guaranteed to hit their bomb. So
yeah, so you're hitting their top end, and then you're hitting just a random card out of it. That might be, or you can slip that card out maybe. So yeah, really, really cute idea and a good solid mind 1-drop. The Melodemon is a 2-drop strength 1/2 demon bard from Concierta, and it has +1 attack for each song in your graveyard and summon discard a card. So first things first, the designer here, designer artist Soyasori, participated a little bit by contributing some arts to the free art sheet a while back. Notably, this was a card that I got into the game called About to Snap. And then Soy disappeared for a while, and then Soy came back and started designing cards, and that's where we get Melodemon. So congratulations for this, and Glasses that also got in this week. Empty, what do you think of this card?
I like the idea here. I think this is really weak, though. The Bard deck, the list is actually pretty competitive right now since it got so many cards in. Well, not right now, but it will be next month. And like losing value in order to get a decent, like you have to put in a lot of work for this to be even slightly over curve. And the only real value there is giving it duelist with KM and then like slamming it into something. But honestly, there are easier options if you just want a good strength unit.
So apart from the song effect, which I do kind of see what you're saying, could it possibly be the case that this could work in with just sort of like a cam, like discard package, like Phantom of the Opera, or do some other shenanigans like that?
Not really, because I mean, you have to run Bards in order to get this to work. And
Yeah.
if you're running a bar discard hybrid package, that's just it's too weird. You're not going to get anywhere.
Okay, I was just throwing it out there. Sevas, what do you think of this?
So yeah, it is weak. It starts being on curve with like 3 Sunken Grave, and the discard is a significant cost. And I'm not completely sure where this card knows where it belongs to, which is completely fine because that's how newer archetypes are built. But this one might mix up too many things at once that didn't showcase a direction yet. And instead of dictating the direction, this tries to support something that hasn't been set yet. It's a
I
bit
see.
weird.
So it was kind of like without full knowledge of the card pool, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. But it's completely fine because Sai made it. But
Yeah.
we'll see if Bards actually will use it.
Why don't we just throw in an update and do overrun agile on this guy and call it a day, all right?
Yeah, but I mean,
That
it's
would
cool
actually
because
make it pretty good.
actually, yeah, and strength, we're missing some discards. So maybe you will just play it for the discard effect, actually.
Yeah, so yeah, just throw overrun agile on this in an update. Reese, what do you think about this?
Just put in vigilant, that's enough. So it can also block. Like
No, vigilant and agile.
Do you even keyword, bro? But yeah, it's cute. That's it. It's a red beatstick that has no home right now.
Yeah, we need to deal with the whole all the player created pseudo keywords by having a card that removes all single word abilities from a card.
Don't give me ideas.
I like it, actually.
Okay, and the Evo Villainess is a 4-drop spirit 3/3 human scientist from nowhere in particular with deadly and entrance. Or when this leaves play, create an Evocask. The Evocask has can attack, and at the end of turn, your leftmost unit shifts 1 on a 0/1. Sevas, we already did talk about this last week. I was actually pretty worried because I think except for the 3 cards Me, Grief, and Empty picked, every card showed up unsubmitted the week before.
Oh, really?
So there was no legal pick you could have picked. I was almost afraid. By the way, for those of you who don't know this is kind of a long stand. We talk about it not on the show, but we do talk about it. One of the worst things that could ever happen for submitted for your approval is for every card we pick in the showcase to end up being the top 10. And so we were almost afraid this was going to happen. I was almost afraid this was going to happen when I was looking at the list, and I had to really I didn't realize the 3 cards that got in that we did pick were ones we didn't talk about. So Sevas, I will give you the floor to talk about this card a little bit.
Yeah, excuse me for this one. I actually did watch the last episode, so you can burn me later. So usually I'm picking the strongest, the best. I'm a crack for those good stuff cards, right? But not this one. This one, I just wanted to highlight the design because it's just beautiful. It combines this leftmost effect with the shift design. And by doing this, you got this shifting board that just every turn switches to the next unit, and at some point ends up with the Evocask itself. And I just like that. It's just so sweet to just watch it happening on the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so cool stuff. And we already said a bit about it, so I'm just gonna move straight along.
But then again, what a wholesome way to put it. Starting out, yeah, I'm all about the powerful instant cards,
Yeah,
but not this
cute.
one.
It's cute, okay, it's cute. Like Shift has its
We
own
need
problems.
cute in this game too. We need non-competitive. That's why stuff like Black Rift exists.
Yeah.
Moving right along, these are the accepted or active submissions available for you to vote on the Reddit right now. Starting with Riftrusher is a 3-drop Mayan 3/2 Feywind Trickster from Black Rift with Agile Rebound, and when you play a non-native card, this costs 1 less this turn. So super cool little 3-drop Agile thing in a token spam type deck. Great for the Ash Gertie like 1-cost matters build. Because actually you will get this to 1 cost. It would actually, this is one of the places where like the minimum 1 cost would create weird interactions. Oh no, they're all base cost. Never mind. I just wanted to say the art on this thing is stellar. Like, I absolutely love this for Black Rift. I've been petitioning really, really hard to get more humanoids into Black Rift. And I love how Space Turtle just kind of decided to do that. And it's beautiful. Grief, what do you think of this?
This card will probably see play tons of, because not for reasons that have to do with non-native and Black Rift stuff. Have you ever heard of a God and Savior Barnacle Brothers?
Tell me the story.
Play Barnacle Brothers. Get a coin. That coin is non-native. Next turn, play a coin, get 1 mana, reduce this card by 1, get a Barnacle Brother copy. You can play this card for 2, by the way, now this turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can play the cat beforehand too to give the coin rebound.
Or
Oh
you
my
can
God, yeah.
fracture the brothers, so you make more brothers and play more
Yeah.
coins,
So
and you
in-
play this for free.
I don't know what you guys are describing to me. It sounds like potential non-native action spam synergy, which I've been wanting. So let's go.
No, that's basically just every common interaction in every damn blue
Yeah,
aggro deck.
it's
Oh, I see.
it's basically Barnacle Brothers tribal.
I see.
This is just a blue aggro piece. The
Yeah.
best thing about it, it's Feowin. So
Yeah.
maybe you can
Oh,
do
yeah.
some Feowin, Lazarus stuff, but Lazarus so down the gutter it kind of hurts.
Yeah. Well, for those of you who don't remember, non-native's not supposed to be just a deck. It's just a theme for Black Rift. And it's supposed to help be toolkit parts for a bunch of different decks. That's why it does improv, so it can slot other things in that the deck maybe needs. MT, what do you think of this?
I mean, yeah, it's fine. I don't know. I don't want to play against the Barnacle Bros deck. That's
I see,
really
okay.
obnoxious. Barnacle Bros is already good enough. Like, it's need support cards.
Wonderful die turn 3. That's what die turn 4. We want to at least give you a turn.
Sevas, what do you think of this?
This is cool. Like the aggro decks were missing a 3-drop, quote unquote. But I also like this and non-native deck, like actually, because we got this 2-card that creates random 1-drops, like 3 random 1-drops, which perfectly fits with this card. So you play it on turn 2, and then turn 3, you got this bunch of units that just swing for face, and it's cute. It's maybe actually decent and playable, like without the brother. It's cool card.
Oh yeah, because this doesn't have a cost floor. So if you get the 3 1/1s, you're playing all 3 of the 1/1s and then playing this for free.
And this,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, that is beautiful. I love that.
It just fits the curve perfectly.
I
Yeah.
don't want to see this on Legacy, but it will. It's probably getting in.
Yeah, I can't. I forgot to log vote counts. I'm always the one who forgets. That's kind of my thing now. I can't do it. I can't not do it now because that would be off brand for me. But yeah, if I remember, it was sitting pretty. Mostly because this card is sitting and it's pretty. So, no, he's not sitting. He's standing. I just lied to you. The Deep Sea Sword is a 1-drop neutral equipment from Osigarth with give a unit when this deals combat damage, create a coin. So we're getting some like inadvertent like Magic the Gathering parallels that we now have. I think we have like 2 different versions of this equipment in Magic or something like that. But yeah, coins for cards. You have to hit with it once to get the value back. And discourage multi-blocking, of course. Not that there's a lot of that, but certainly discourages it. A bunch of other useful stuff. MT, what do you think of this?
Another card for the Barnacle Brothers tribal deck.
Hey! Can somebody look at where this is sitting, by the way? MT, do you have nothing else to say?
No, so to be fair, like it's a pretty high risk proposition. Unless like you're getting a ton of value out of that coin, you need to hit twice in order to like really get your money's worth with this. And there's a lot of early game removal floating around right now. It's pretty popular. and it's best to play this early. So unless you have like some really tanky 1 or 2 drop that can actually live a few hits, it might be tough to get your money's worth.
Yeah. It's sad I can't apply this to units in my hand because I want to play this on a Spawn of Forneus in my hand.
Yeah, that's the reason you can't do this on units in your hand.
Well, nobody does equipments that work from hand. That would actually be cool. No. Sevas, what do you think of this?
So it sits at 4 currently, just so you know.
Okay.
It's a mystery for me. Like the only hero that supports is Helden, maybe Rictic to some extent, maybe leaning to that meme Rictic equipment direction, right? But at that point, you must need a damn good reason to not play like a tune instead of this, which is cool. And I will come back to this like later on the later cards that we got this cool attune-ish cards, multiple of those in standards. And this is one of those. It's a mystery, really.
Grief, what do you think of this?
Well, maybe for target meta stuff, this is okay, but overall, this is just a utility equipment. We need more utility equipment overall, but at the end of the day, you sure you target maybe an agile unit, get combat damage out of it. Duelists kind of work because duelists do combat damage because dueling is a special combat active ability. So maybe KM can play around with this, but yeah. It's just neat.
I don't know. I think it could be fun to play around with, and we'll in the end we'll just see, right? Okay, the ability Snatcher is a 2-drop mine 3/2 psychic aberration from Verstalt. With summon, steal a keyword from a unit with a keyword in enemy hand. So I don't know. I thought this was kind of cute as just a 3/2. Have a potential to like rob. If it ends up with duelist, you're in a good position. But I think maybe this is sitting at 0, and I was a little curious why, and I figured I'd ask the panel. And my best guess was that this has a chance of whiffing, and even without that chance of whiffing, there's just a lot of stuff where keywords are not necessarily taking the spotlight in the current meta, perhaps. And so, Sevas, what do you think of this?
I think it's at low count because people don't want to see this being used against them.
Oh, I see.
Because it steals. So the moment it actually steals a keyword, it becomes slightly of a curve. Like actually stealing the ability from the opponent and having like additional abilities. Because sure, it has like, I don't know, 3/2 with a keyword. I'd say, I don't know, agile, duelist, ward, whatever, but you stole that. So you actually you won the trade, right? So this is always good when it hits, and keywords are, I'd say, quite important right now. So I thought, okay, that's a cool card. We'll probably see in some VLC play and some mid-range mind deck. But it sits at 0, so that's sad.
Yeah, okay. I can see what you're saying about this. Probably people don't want to play against this. This is notably good against Duelist Tribal. Like you said, it becomes a little bit overcurved. This would really, really be funny, and we've seen something in the skeleton at the beach thing. If we ever saw a Rebound Tribal, this is like the winning matchup for it, right? Like, I'm gonna summon, steal your rebound off your card. It's gonna die, come back, summon, steal another rebound. That would be really, really funny, and that's why I really, really like the interactions this deck can create. And I think it's it's sort of an interesting direction, but apparently the community doesn't want to play against it. Grief, what do you think of this?
And to be honest, I'm in both camps. I can see the techie side of sticking something that is pretty good for the unit, making it slightly overcurve. On the other hand, yeah, in general, this steals one keyword, and if your opponent is not playing in the standard league, let's face it, you're probably getting some dirty keyword out of it. And that is not to bash the rest of the community, but let's be honest, the large majority of people play casual decks, and this hitting something good in there varies varies from matchup to matchup.
Yeah, it's a very matchup dependent card, which was why one of the reasons I was thinking maybe it was at 0. Empty, what do you think of this?
Yeah, I think it's too polarizing, and like the matchups that it is good in, like this card is just nuts. Like you get a 2-mana 3/2. It's mostly duelist is the main one.
And hand information.
Yeah, against a lot of cards, this is basically just discarding them. Like Curse Pride Alpha is really popular right now, and that card is just gutted without duelist. I think this should be readjusted to 3 mana and maybe get a stat point or 2.
Okay. So that's advice on how this can improve, but yeah, I want to see Rebound Tribal just so I can go tech ability Snatcher once if it gets adjusted and gets in. I'm just gonna steal Rebound and then steal Rebound and then steal Rebound. Okay, the Secondhand Thinker is a 2-drop mine 3/1 human arcanist from nowhere in particular with untargetable, and create a doubt idol with untargetable. Choose a secret number between 0 and 13 for it. The doubt idol can attack, and when a card with the chosen cost would be played, destroy this to counter, bounce, and exhaust it. So actually using the exhaust from hand, for those of you who don't know how this works, if you exhaust a card in hand, that is what the cannot be played effect actually does. But this would be the first card, I think, to explicitly state that, or to explicitly make people learn that interaction. So this is
Ronin. Ronin does exhaust.
Okay. But yeah, so this is sort of like a reflector mage type thing, but with a little aspect of intrigue and secretness to it. Little sad that this was the direction they chose for the flavor, because this would have been a nice mesh and Verstalt as a psychic aberration. But it still fits into the whole Mind Games game plan. Empty, what do you think of this?
Oh yeah, I love this. I do kind of wish it was a psychic just so it could be running the deck, but
oh yeah, even
like that, it doesn't affect the design in any way. So
yeah,
and the design is awesome. So yeah, this is a great card for the human deck. It gives you an untargetable body, which is just such an underused keyword and so important for something fragile like this to help you keep your XP. And then especially for stuff like the standard league where you know what your opponent is playing, like you can just waste their entire turn by choosing like the mana value that their bomb is at, where you're running some like aggro mid-range deck and you don't really care. It's a great card.
Or what you do is you psych them out, right? So they have their bomb they're about to play and they have a little ping. And then you set the cost equal to the ping. So when they try to ping the doubt idol so they can play their bomb, they've now just wasted that mana.
Well, the doubt idol gets untargetable too.
Yeah.
Oh, the doubt idol has a
Can't ping
oh,
away.
so yeah, they're just force taking this. Yeah, this was crunched in a really weird way. Text crunched.
Yeah, this is seriously crunched.
Yeah, it's whatever. I'm not dwelling on it. That's not what today's episode is for. Sevas, your go.
It's a solid tempo play and for humans and in general just mid-range mind, I guess. But damn, Tahazar been exploring some crazy designs lately. I like this. I like this a lot. He been bringing up some very nice designs.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of the experiment. These two experiments are some of the ones I've liked the most, which is coming from, and so I really like these. And also, honestly, solid use of Prose Painter. I mean, we got to talk about, how we have these phases where we go through this VQ Gan art. I think this is a really nice piece. Grief, what do you think of this?
I love it. I love counter sweats. I love stacks card effects. I love putting shit back into my opponent's hand and making them not play with stuff. Secondhand Thinker is just right up my alley. I looked at the card and I thought, oh, whoa, this is cool. Wait a second, it has untargetable. Wait a second, Doubt Idol has untargetable. This is just a good card.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever get Rebound or any kind of return to hand effect on this kind of card, you can just play it again. If you can. The thing is, like, untargetable only works on board.
Yeah.
So if you can create a copy of it somewhere, or reshuffle it back into your deck. Oh, sorry, reshuffle with Librarian multiple copies of these kinds of cards into your deck, you can probably lock out more cards of your opponent's hand. Overall, this is just a cool design direction. I love more counterspell as effects. This is just solid and we'll probably see play in competitive play, whatever.
Yeah.
Grief, actually, a question. Is the effect bound to Doubt Idol? Because as you mentioned, what if we revive the Doubt Idol?
Exactly.
Because you just destroy it.
That's something that I also wanted to figure out, because there could be a property that's actually hung there. So regardless of this actually moving out, if you reanimate it, you could probably figure out back again. Which means that if you can copy it, depending on how it is blocked, you can get multiple instances out of it.
Yeah, yeah. Let's not dwell too terribly much on. Where does this sit now? Second man thinker. It's in the game. It's 10. It's getting in, guys.
Beautiful.
Okie dokie then. The Luminian Kingpin is a 2-drop strength 2/2 salamander from Uxmel with regenerate, and your units have regenerate while you have initiative. So the whole concept behind this is actually Hanoi's Realm, but again, the first card designed by Cockatrice, and it's got axolotls and glowing rocks. And they're doing like a day-night cycle thing where the monsters come out at night. So this is an interesting way to start it out, but hey, axolotl people, I ain't complaining. They're pretty cute. And just a really, really nice like piece, just like attitude on the critter here, and then using an initiative mechanic. I thought initiative is kind of a weird, but it's the only sensible way I could think of to do like a day-night flavored thing. It's still a little weird because, well, it's day for you, it's night for them. But maybe y'all are fighting from other sides of the planet, you know? So, Sevas, what do you think of this?
Yeah, I didn't know the law behind this. So at first I was wondering, why is the restriction even there? Because it seems very like weak in my eyes. And I thought it wanted to be played in some rage decks. And there is this funny 2-drop, like 1/3 that gives everything +3 HP, which seemed better than this. And there was also this Daling equivalent that boosted health as well, is giving regenerate, and was being used, like kinda, but mainly because Dalings are a very duelist focused tribe, and duelists make the most use of regeneration. So I don't know, like we need to update this, I think, or we see more cards from Uxmel, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I agree that it's very weird. I think this card's like getting in. This card's at like 11. I'm tempted to say art advantage because you're right. The balance is really weird on this one, but maybe people just really want to see what happens playing with this regenerate thing. And I know people were pretty hyped about the realm in the lore channel. So, Grief, what do you think of this?
We've discussed this actually in voice chat before, and this is like yes or no. I really like the mechanic. The effect is whatever. But I personally am a huge fan of initiative matters mechanics. And there are ways to do them well. This is just like a differently flavored dinosaur. If we look back at all older dinosaur cards, which were the only initiative matters cards, technically. And they did basically similar things like, oh yeah, I get overrun or we get buffs and stuff like that. And this is basically the regenerated flavor of it. Maybe if we see more stuff in the initiative matters mechanic side of things, this is definitely better. One of the reasons why I see people not liking it is, and I think Wujek pointed that out, he would like the design more if you had a chance in our game to actually manipulate initiative.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, something like regenerate while you have initiative would be far better. I personally would also more or less promote cards that also care about not having initiative. So you can actually be active with your deck, both on initiative and off initiative, and bounce back and forth between these. This would be interesting.
I think that's what they end up wanting to do with Uxmel, but I do agree that it'd be really cool if we just had initiative as an actionable property for cards, because then you could do stuff like, you know, maybe have these cards like take initiative for you when you play them, like a daybreak kind of mechanic or something like that, right?
Era and ETCG actually had something similar to that, where you had cards that either shifted initiative or cared about having initiative, or one of their most interesting mechanics was with characters that actually gave you a plus on having initiative, meaning that at the start of the game, initiative is rolled on a table, and the player with a higher initiative count actually starts the game with initiative, which is important on ways how cards resolved first at the first turn, and then panels from there to either player. So you had cards that had like +1 or +2 to initiative, or stuff like Fog Hydra, which gave you +15 to initiative. So as long as you actually played Fog Hydra, you always started the game with initiative.
Unless your opponent was also playing Fog Hydra.
Yeah, basically.
So yeah, I guess I'm saying, Grief, you're on the council, get to it. Talk to the programmer.
That's an engine thing. That's an engine thing.
Yeah. So you go off, talk to the programmer.
Exactly.
Empty, what do you think of this?
Thanks, guys.
Empty, what do you think of this?
Yeah, so I think it's great that like with some of the cards we've been getting recently, we're actually like dipping into a lot of design space that is super underutilized. I think Initiative Matters could be a really neat archetype. I really like the idea of having like off turns and on turns where like your deck is weak versus your deck is really strong. The problem is that this card is weak on both turns. So I think this needs a bit of a buff. If it's really like that, I don't see the synergy with the archetype unless it's like a ton of duelists.
Yeah. Okie doke. Skullking.EXE is a 4-drop neutral 3/5 undead software from Uplink with your undead and software cost 2 less and have entrance destroy this end of turn. I can't really comment on this, but because I don't really know the deck, but like, man, that art though. Yeah, that's some art. Okay, who are we on? We are on Sevas. You can start us off.
Nice, because I'm quite commentless as well, because there is no deck yet, actually, like, oh, never will be. I don't know, like, this is similar to Blood Angle, right? Where it wants to be this combo-ish deck, but there are some cards for Blood Angle, but this one wants undead and softwares and tries to combine them. And it's a bit weird-ish. Also, why is it an entrance? Why not on play? Because you actually want to revive your undeads after they die, but now they die again. So do you only play revive cards? But your cards that are discounted are units, not your revive spells. So it's a bit a mess. I'm not sure about this card.
So I think I know what card Grief's going to start drawing parallels to, and maybe he's found a build for it. So maybe Grief's the guy to talk on this. Grief, what do you think of this card?
This is not Honeypot.
Okay, there's his comparison.
Bingo!
Bingo!
This is not Honeypot Andrew, because Honeypot Andrew does a lot of things and a lot of things extremely well. Because Honeypot Andrew is, Heartless Summoning on crack. This does nothing that Honeypot all Heartless Summoning actually do, because sure, you get a discount. You still need ways to actually draw the units that you want to play them at a discount, or have play extenders from there. Okay, this is very cool if you have a summon heavy deck, where you just say, okay, I'm now puking out my entire hand. This is an extender that starts your turn. Sorry, this is not an extender. It is a play starter. It's not a combo extender. Your combo extenders is every piece that is actually discounted by this card. The problem is, for the tribes that it actually cares for, many of them have either entomb effects, summon effects that either want to get you more gas, and so on and so forth. but none of these archetypes inherently draw you more cards or get you into more plays on a regular basis. So you need to actually have like everything set up, play this card, and go from there and hope you're not disrupted or this thing gets killed. Because you want to play pseudo-esque a honeypot deck that kind of doesn't benefit from the board killing itself, which Undeads kind of want to. And as Sevas rightly pointed out, even if you reanimate your entire board, because now everything is cost reduced, you can just play a mass reanimation that cares about cost, bring everything back, but at the end of the turn, it dies. So if none of these units actually have agile or care about entrance effects, that's also a wasted turn.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. It just needs it needs the other pieces to make this work, and maybe this was the wrong piece to introduce first. Although it's an interesting idea. I love the idea. It's just that this needs 3 other cards to happen before that, in my opinion. But maybe I'm wrong. Empty, what do you think about this?
I mean, there is definitely some cute things you can do with it. The cost reduction does apply to like everything, so you can get more value out of like a Grave Uprising. I think what you're definitely trying to do with this is like go off and win in one turn with a bunch of Flesh Terror Artisans. And that could be decent. The problem is I think it's kind of overkill. Usually just like duping Flesh Terror Artisan once is already enough to win the game. And this also makes you a lot more vulnerable, because if your opponent has some way to survive your initial attack, like you just lose everything. So honestly, I just don't see it being worth it. There's something there though. It's not completely useless.
Yeah. Okay. The Body of Ambrosia is a 1-drop neutral 2/1 wax golem from Lux with when you play a card that targets this for the first time each turn, gain 1 mana. Neat. Empty, what do you think of this?
Great card. I really wish the stats were flipped around. There's so much Deface and Pancat and Road Maniac running around. This is like so hard to run. It's just gonna die every single time. And the Target Matters deck is basically always held him. And like dropping this on turn 1 and then losing your 1-drop is just a recipe for disaster. It's so bad when that happens. I'm not sure you can run this because it's just that risky.
Grief, what do you think of this?
I'm not really too much into the idea of this being too vulnerable. The problem is like when you target it, it's kind of wasted. Because, okay, this is a neutral unit. You can place this everywhere. You can place this in a self-target deck. You can place this in unit-heavy decks that target stuff. Sure. You play this, turn 1. Next turn, either you play a card that targets it, which then just refunds your cost 1 card, and maybe you can get a buff on it or whatever. If this gets killed, okay, this is a 2-for-1, but still you can play for 2 mana. Okay, sure, you just discounted your card that you played on it, or play the 2 mana card and now just got 1 mana back and can play another 1 mana unit. Sure, but whatever. It's 1 time a turn. And at most, you're paying an action for free or a unit for free. And in hard aggro decks, sure, this is cool. But since this doesn't really do much besides sitting there because you attack into empty boards with it, but overall, you just don't want to use this. It sits there, it eats an occasional target, which could be better used on any other 1-drop unit or 2-drop unit for its interactions, and that's it. It's just a curve filler.
Yeah. I'm looking at this. First of all, I realized I got the panelists out of order. There's an order they're supposed to go in, for those of you who don't know. I was thinking about this, and this almost makes me want to slot it into my trash deck. Because, like, you play this, and then you play down the Shanker, and then you play down your Rebar Sword on the same turn. That could be cute. But then again, that deck's also already like full up on 1-drop, so maybe not. Sevas, what do you think of this?
So at first I thought MTG Boggles are entering collective. Like Rectic enchantments, finally be real, yay! But like this is actually super versatile, and I like it. Like it's for the enchantments deck. It's also for the Vax tribe that actually is targeting its own units, and it's also for self-sack because like cards like Hassan actually target the unit they kill.
Oh yeah.
So
I
it's
forgot
a
about Self-sack.
needs kinda a tune-ish with like a unit attached to it. So that could be useful. So yeah, I think the versatility of it could be good. Yeah, and about Pankit and other one pingers, I mean, there is a great reward hidden behind this card if this stays on board, right? So I think the risk reward should be like that. So
No, Sevas, I'm gonna play my Shattered Glasses on this T2 so that I could get really just heartbroken when it gets removed.
I mean, sure.
This will be a target for your Ocean Sword, and then
Yeah,
you cry
yeah,
because
yeah.
you
Yeah.
will never have.
Yeah, here's the play: Body of
Ambrosia.
Ambrosia, turn 2, Shattered Glasses, Ocean Sword, and
Dreams shattered. Yeah, it's cute. It's cool. It's versatile. Could be useful someday.
Yeah,
Okie
when
dokie then.
pings stop being run and everything, that's the day this will be useful.
The Question Master is a 4-drop mine 4/4 toon supervillain from Karachar. With summoning at the start of turn, discard a card, then your opponent discards a card with the same mana cost. If they can't, you draw 2 cards. So first of all, the art on this piece is absolutely horrible, and I don't think it's going to get on game, given that the art is no. No, this is a cute little piece. I like it's more mind games, and we're seeing mind games in other affinities. It's like the ecosystem is healing. Maybe what Verstalt did is actually encourage people to print these effects in other realms, which is also fine. And we can just update them all to psychics, guys. I think this guy can maybe fit a third thing on the
honestly, like Lazara is so bad that you might just run it in like non-tribal decks. I think the KM, like the Lazara deck, is going to have a hard time competing with the KM list.
Yeah, I see. Okay. So yeah, Sevas, what do you think of this?
You really need disruption. Like the stats are fine, but the fact that you can just pick cards, like you don't actually pick the cards from your opponent, but you can specifically build your deck to kill specific combos. So you put in cards with those cost of those combo pieces, and then you just can say, okay, drop your combo piece. This game is basically mine now, and you can do it every turn. And even if you don't, well, you draw 2 cards. It's cool.
Grief, what do you think of this?
Slight tangent. I like Commander. One of my favorite commanders that I've played with that is not really competitive is the colorless Cozy Leg one, with the counter spells depending on what card you discard. I get these kinds of vibes from this card. I love it for it. Because you just play a hard control hand discard deck where you say, okay, cool. I will discard a card, you discard a card, okay, cool. We're going to turn 3, turn 4. I'll drop Question Master. Okay, I discard a card. Now, do you have a card in hand? Okay, maybe you have 1 or 2 left. You discard 1. Okay, I don't get a plus, but I have dumped your hand again. Next turn. Okay, let's dump again. Do you have another cost card? No, you don't. Sucks to be. I draw 2. And from there, this just explodes in value. The moment you actually take control of the game, the moment Question Masters drops, it's over for the opponent. It's not like this card alone can win your game. If you build your deck around it, your opponent will never be able to actually out the advantage that Question Master produces.
Empty, what do you think of this?
Oh yeah, this is an awesome design. I love this card. It encourages you to build your deck in a really interesting way, where like you're thinking about costs of cards very differently. And it's a huge payoff card for having hand information, which is really nice. Like having that disruption option, and then also having like the value backup for when like the disrupting is done and your opponent's hand is in shambles. You can just fill up your hand so that they can never like outvalue it. Just such a great card.
Yeah. And it's sitting at 8, so it's doing pretty well. I'm looking at the art and I'm like, I might want to go back and like redo some of the washes on it or something. I didn't know how good this card was going to go over.
I want to stack it standard. Give me stacks.
It's coming. It's coming.
We're working on it. Give us time. I did a pretty picture. No.
Meanwhile,
The Hermit Crab Matron is a 5-drop strength 4/6 Hermit Crab from Osagarth with summon, create 2 scuttling Hermit Crabs. This is Spirit if you are, and Rage, create a bigger shell. Anything that references my Hermit Crab buddy is going to make me smile. I originally asked Dia to do this art, and then the card that it was on didn't work out. Oh, this is the version. Oh, he had a different version of it that he was working on that I guess didn't work out because there were some issues with the blocking. So, Sevas, what do you think of this?
Yeah, it's a funny Hermit Crab reference. Besides that, it's well stated, I guess, for the cost. But except for this, I got no. It doesn't inspire me. Okay, it's cool. I could use it in some mid-range decks, but only if I know that the meta got so slow where you actually care about the amount of stats that your units have at that amount of cost. Yeah, it's fine, right? It's not bad, it's not weak, it's just fine and funny.
Yeah, it's sitting at 5, which is pretty decent for the current week, but we'll see. Grief, what do you think of this?
It exists.
Okay,
Sorry.
maybe I should have asked Empty first because he picked this. What do you think of this, Empty?
Yeah, I like absolutely love Hermit Crab. I run it like in a whole bunch of decks. It's just a really great designed card. This is just like the idea of making a Hermit Crab Lord is great. Like I love that idea. This is just not very interesting for being a Hermit Crab Lord. It doesn't really do anything extra. It's just sort of a big version of the Hermit Crab that comes with some buddies. And like it doesn't even generate the shell until it gets hit. So it's like really slow to get going.
Well, and there's of course the chance that it might not generate the shell at all, which is what
the
one thing I didn't like about it. Because the crabs aren't played. You don't get the shells off of the crabs, and so that could be maybe create and play alone could have done this, but as it's sitting, I like that it's a reference to one of my favorite cards that I actually designed, but it does I don't know if this is quite it. So I would encourage Astros to maybe rework it now that I'm seeing that my opinion or that we seem to be kind of in alignment with this, but yeah. I'm glad you guys were excited to see more Hermit Crabs, though, because I like the whole, it's my favorite reminder text in any card game ever. Hermit and Crab are tribes. Okay, the Annoying Cockatrice is a 2-drop neutral 1/3 chicken snake from Saga with can't attack, deadly, charm, and other units have can't attack. So yeah, I was just really, really hoping we could get some more stuff to protect my squishy chickens, and Astra's delivered on this. I guess me and him are just working together on a lot of things now. No, this is a really, really clever use of the art I put on the free art sheet. I really, really like this. Saying art I put on the art sheet is just a weird thing for me to say because up until a couple weeks ago I wasn't an artist. Who are we on? Sevas, you go first.
All right, so apart from being the haha funny checking support, this is good. Like this at worst trades equal. And that's like the worst case scenario, because when you're playing control deck, you just drop this turn 2, and opponent is now under pressure because they can't really use their early resources to get rid of this, because this is 3 health. So they would either use 2 of the early drops, or like basically exhaust one of their units, which usually will die because it has deadly. And this is just a perfect 2-drop for some control decks. And also, you mentioned that chicken support. What's funny about this is because it has charm, you can actually force it into this weird pressured situation where the opponent has to remove it, because if he doesn't, then you just crash your own chickens into it and proc their entombed effects, which is funny.
Yeah, I thought that was a really clever sort of thing you do with it. Grief, what do you think of this?
This was chick support. like this is just a generally good card.
Yeah,
like,
but it also
really damn good.
Yeah.
This is
But
not
it also
chicken
lets
support.
you self-sack your chickens, and it's a chicken itself.
I mean, the thing is, like, self-sack your chickens, you don't care. You just use them as blocker. Okay, in this case not, but the only reason why you play chickens is gathering 3. This is gathering 3 support. That would be probably the case.
Yeah.
Outside of that, this is just, as Sevas pointed out, a solid unit. You play this in a control shell. You lock out everything that has more and more attack than this has HP. Say, okay, cool. My opponent plays Ash, or if my opponent is Villainess, he's probably
Oh yeah,
one attack Ash.
It's absolutely destroys Doomwalkers.
Oh yeah, it's Doomwalkers cry.
You put this out and then say, okay, cool, a nice agile you have there. Oh, sucks to be you. Would have probably been nice to not have only one attack matter support.
Yeah, go sack 3 units.
This is hilarious. Nothing besides maybe a Blade Weaver or Tricuna gets rid of this immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And at 2 cost neutral, this can be just slotted everywhere. This is such a solid unit. And if you're playing Duelist Tribal yourself, you just get rid of everything that could potentially kill it. At the moment you drop the second one, it's even worse.
I'm just realizing, looking at the vote counts, there's so much stuff that's floating around 5 and 6s. So I'm gonna have no idea what's gonna show up in mid-game and midweek on Tuesday. It's gonna be fun. MT, what do you think of this?
This is just like an extremely strong control tool. Like against Heldam and Ash, this just like ruins them. Like you just got their XP and put this like extremely obnoxious unit out that you can defend with your removal. It's and the interactions with Doomwalkers is hilarious.
Yeah, maybe should have brought a wizard to your party to get rid of this, throwing a few fireballs at its face.
I mean, they do have Soul Warder, the Soul Warden that can do this, but yeah, you're right that it can get in some really nasty places. The Pangol Staff is a 3-drop spirit equipment with give a unit +3/+3, give it Warden regenerate if the last card you played was a unit. So this is the Pangal thing from Space Turtle where you want to play unit action, unit action, unit action. Grief, go.
Cool card. Self-target matters. That's basically it. Maybe you can put it into Heldam, but this is green, so you're paying 4 mana for a 3/3 buff. What regenerate? It's cool and all, but maybe just put it into unit meta stuff. This is cool in cube though.
Oh yeah, definitely a good limited card. Empty, what do you think of this?
Yeah, the only place I really see this finding a home is like KM Duelist. I think it would be pretty nasty there. Like you play a lot of units anyway, since your units are basically removable, and Warden and Regenerate are both great on Duelists. So,
Sevas, what do you think of this?
Remember the funny chicken that we just saw?
You put this on that? God, that's
Because
nasty.
you not only need to remove the units, you can also just buff the chicken, right? And just,
Oh,
and
that's
just
true. I
lock
forgot about
down
it.
the game. But besides it, it's a really good card, and it shows how much the keyword duelist can be, and is being abused. Because, and I'm also not sure why the extra clause is there to like restrict the card, because you are always kind of playing it after a unit. So that seemed a bit off to me. But yeah, this is just very, very strong card. It could be played in KM Duelist and Dart, and I think even in Helden, really, because it gives ward. And it is basically agile because you upscale your already attacking unit.
Oh, true.
It's good.
Yeah, I really like that chicken combo. That's good. I need both those cards to get in the game now. That's just too funny.
Now you've scared the voting base.
Shit.
Don't do that. We were so close.
Grief, what do you think of this?
I did say it's
We've
okay.
just talked about it.
I've got the panelists all out of order. Has everyone spoken?
Everyone's spoken.
Everyone's spoken. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go redo my little mental map of how this is supposed to happen. And if my arithmetic is correct, empty. Oh, Admran Inheritance is a 1-drop mines action from Elmon with create 1 coin and search 4, create 2 more. We talked about Surge already. I forgot to read the card, so I finally got the panelist right and forgot to read the card. Empty, what do you think of this?
Very basic, like Rick staple card. Helps you get your XP. Barnacle Brothers support for that weird deck. And then like later in the game, you can use this to like ramp out your win con, whatever that may be. It's like a perfectly fine Surge card. And like nobody's playing Rick. So as much as I dislike his play patterns, like he could use a little love right now.
Sevas, what do you think of this?
Okay, so I don't have a deck yet for it, like a one and only deck for this. It's more like a general ramp deck, right? But the card is just another one of those attune cards. We have so many ramp cards in mind currently, like with this included. We have attune, we have a card that searches attune. Now we have this, and we can just make a very, very consistent ramp shell out of this. Like it's really neat. I like it.
Yeah. Grief, what do you think of this?
Are you suggesting that we're building a big Rick? Big spell Rick deck?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've said this already in voice chat. This is a weirdly bad card. And to put into context why I say this is both an extremely good card and an extremely bad card, depending on which aspect you're looking at it. Because a 1 mana, get a coin, meaning that, okay, for 0 mana, you play 2 actions. That's pretty tremendous for Victor. Or for 1 mana, bank a mana, which is also pretty good. Which is why I'm pointing out 2 different aspects of this card. Mana economy-wise and action economy-wise. Because action economy-wise, this is one heck of a strong card. The search effect is where this kind of breaks. Because I don't want to pay 5 mana to bank 3 mana for next turn or the following turns. I want to use them now, or use utilize the ramp effect that doesn't really tax me that much for little return. If you're looking at the actions that you're getting out of it, it's 3 coins, which is pretty good. But yeah. Do I really want to pay 5 mana to get 3 coins?
I think that's maybe not the worst deal. I mean, it's at a weird spot at the curve, right? Like
it's at the thing is like it's at a weird spot of a curve for the turn for the kind of deck that you maybe want to play in. Because if you wanted to ramp into stuff, you're still just wasting a turn to ramp for the next turn. we had cards that did something similar to that, but they cost like 3 or 2 mana, which is more reasonable to bank for the next turn. If you're going for action economy wise, why are you playing 5 mana, do nothing, or maybe 5 mana, discount your next card by 3 mana? It's kind of weird considering the fact, and that's why the search effect will probably less come up than just paying this for 1, getting the coin, getting the extra mana for next turn, or using the coin right now for the action economy.
Yeah.
The play 1, bank 3 coins would be probably less of a case scenario unless you're playing an extremely grindy hard control deck.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Let's stop. It's sitting at 7, so it's doing pretty decent. So I called to the share. Sevas, can you turn the light on so we can see that picture in the background?
I have a picture. Yeah. Wait, I can just switch to this.
There we go. Yeah, he's got that really, really nice picture, and I didn't want to go through the episode without us seeing that. Thank you. So that was this week. This week was really fun. We saw some cool stuff in Accepted and some cool stuff in Active that I really hope gets into Accepted. Not just because it's got my art on it. Thank you very much to Grief and Empty, as always, for joining me.
Always nice to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. Hopefully I can keep up the streak of being back on Split It.
We're going to have like an empty street counter in the corner of the street. No.
The not empty counter.
Yeah. And Sevas, so good to have you on for a second time. We got to do this more often. So you know the deal. Like, comment, and subscribe to just remind me why I'm doing this. I do this.
By the way, before you end the episode, Sevas, do you want to plug anything or do some advertisement?
Okay.
Because there's a lot of background work that you do.
Oh, nah, it's fine. We talk about this when it's like done, okay? It's
No, I thought about more of the cube scenario stuff and so on.
Oh, the cube scenario?
So cube stuff and...
Oh, yeah, we got like a cube going on. But
and they got a big secret project.
Weekend.
Oh.
And that is like... We talk about it maybe next time. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
you got to do a different time at some point.
Somebody,
I can never plan it because I'm always doing submitted when I could play it with you.
Oh yeah, we should do that.
So everybody go grill Sevas about his secret project in collective Discord chat. Subscribe, remind me why I'm doing this, and don't forget to keep on playing collective and keep on voting on cards. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.